Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I want to be talking about the zodiac sign Leo and life, and yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, well, first thing up is, well, generally, Leo likes to live their life very large. They're not ones to do things in small doses. If it's somebody that's into like gambling, speculation, will often be on a large scale. Leo, during the course of their life, can be rather extravagant, may have difficulty living within their own means, their own income. Now, Leos often have a sunny disposition and they will often bring life to others that may be despondent or need to be revitalized or rejuvenated. Keep in mind, the sun is about our vitality, our energy, and our life. And Leo can have that really be able to bring life, inject life into others. When other people may have some difficulty in doing that, Leo can just, I would say, naturally have that ability. Now, Leo can be also very generous and magnanimous. Leo will give you their shirt off the back, and figuratively speaking, they will help others often in time of need because during the course of their life they may express a lot of benevolence and kindness toward others. Leo is the kind of person during their life, if people have helped them out and done things to benefit them, they will naturally often reciprocate and they won't forget those people, generally speaking, that had aided them, that were beneficial to them at some point during their life. It's not that out of sight, out of mind philosophy often will not apply to Leo. Now, I had Leo, a couple Leo family members, grandmother and grandfather were both Sun and Leos, and they had very generous souls, and they were ones that would, I mean, they wouldn't hesitate to help me during my time of need. They would often be the ones that would speak up for me when others would just, basically tuck their tail, basically be more cowardly or not want to get involved. Leos often have very strong courage and fortitude, and they will spend a good part of their lives expressing their bravery, and it could be standing up for someone else's friend's behalf or even a family member's. So the thing about too, when you look at Leo as well, because of their great courage and fortitude, they will do things for others that a lot of other people just won't, that have less courage would not do. I can remember there was one time, sometime in the 1940s, my grandfather, the sun in Leo, he jumped into the intrepid waters of the Long Island Sound and risked his own life, perhaps, and he saved somebody for maybe potentially drowning. It was because a plane crashed into the Long Island Sound sometime in the 1940s, and he rushed in and saved the person. And I think at the time he did have something. He had his leg, one of his feet were not right. He had some polio or something, and he had didn't have the arch in one of his feet, and there was, I don't know if it was polio, but I know there was something wrong with one of his feet where it didn't have the arch, and I guess didn't have like the flexibility. So I'm sure it was a little harder for him to swim. But the thing about it is, my grandfather stood only 5'5", weighed maybe 160 pounds. So he was small in physical stature, but he stood taller, diminutive in physical stature, but he stood taller than perhaps any man that I ever knew, and especially because of what he did for his size and for his physical size, and he had a tremendous heart. The heart does rule Leo, of course, and Leos often have big hearts and will show that, express that often during their life. And the thing about it is, Leos will be the ones that often encourage others to be extroverted. I've had a number of Leo friends that that thought that I was too introverted and they wanted me to come out of my shell, and they would try to keep talking to me to try to be more gregarious and extroverted. But of course, it doesn't mean, it's very hard to change people once they're set in their ways. Me being a son, And Cancer and Taurus is Sun. Yet Sun and Cancer is not a fixed sign, but they're often about their comfort zone, and they could be very introverted and insular, much to themselves. And then you have the Taurus rising, which of course could be very set in their ways and very stable. Not one, I call it immutable, not really wanting to change, because I think Taurus is unequivocally, it's really the most fixed sign of the zodiac. But I've had one Leo friend that basically fed up told me, you need to go out, so you need to start going around outside, be around people more. The same Leo friend, he had a sun and ascendant in Leo. He said, asked me one time, why are you so introverted? And and the thing is, you know, I could have given him a dissertation about my chart, but he wouldn't have understood. But anyway, but the thing about Leos too, they can be very empowering. They're like how a sun powers a solar car. They could empower us as well, give us that fuel to get on our feet if we're in a situation where we're stagnant or we're not going anywhere in our life. They will often do something to try to motivate us and drive us to get us into that direction, to get on our feet, to do what needs to be done to better our lives. And they they often live their lives doing things with a lot of confidence and self-assuredness. Some of you may remember a flamboyant boxer, Muhammad Ali, who had a Leo ascendant. He would always be saying, "I'm the greatest." And he, he said he would, boast about what he's going to do to people in the ring, but he backed it up. I mean, he was arguably the best boxer that ever lived, and he dominated a lot of his fights. Leo energy can often be about dominating. It's not just about winning. It's conquering and really beating the opponent bad, pulverizing them, making a. I mean, they are Leos are again could often be very dominant people, to say the least. You have a negative, Leo in a negative manifestation that will spend a lot of their life dominating others in their existence, whether it's close friends or family members, and people may be taken aback by that. So Leo sometimes just needs to kind of cool down and not just, maybe inadvertently romp over people and have everybody, because Leo often lives their life expecting others to revolve around theirs, and and it doesn't always work out that way. Other people still have to live their own existence and do what they have to do. But anyway, another thing too is that what Leo has to understand during their life, and in order to make sure they increase their longevity, realize that even though their energy may be nearly inexorable, indefatigable, it still isn't. They can still get tired at some point, just like we all do. And Leo can often have, I mean, you look at Leos, they could often succumb, I would say, to overexertion, because they will often overdo it. At an older age, especially, Leo needs to really take the precautions, because they sometimes don't know their own limitations. Pride often prohibits them from doing that. I think what it is Leo, perhaps more than any other sign, due to their excessive pride, they want to keep on going and going like that Energizer bunny, regardless of what age they are. And what happens is they often may think, well, that they can do maybe at 60 years old what they were able to do at 20 or 30 years old, and it doesn't work out like that. My son and Leo grandfather, he he died of a heart attack at age he was 71, and I mean, and I think if I remember right, he checked out okay at the doctors, but I still wonder that he passed away maybe earlier than he could have, because he overworked. He was doing all kinds of work for the homeless at late 60s, early 70s, and he just didn't know, I don't think, to be enough to be stagnant from a little bit more often, take a little more of a break. There's nothing wrong with lethargy every now and then, and you're getting to your older years, and it's important, just imperative, to just get the proper rest as well, and have a little bit more balance between your work life and in your relaxation time. And I just don't think he had that proper balance, and a lot in that attributed, I do strongly believe, to his death, perhaps a little earlier than it should have been. And I think he could have lived longer if he hadn't done worked so hard and worked so laboriously, even in his older years now. And also, it's a propensity going back to him, having the heart attack. He had Leos have that propensity for the heart attacks because the heart does rule Leo. And the thing too is, another thing about Leo as well is that many may live their lives entertaining others. They're often very flamboyant. Their extroverted energy makes them a natural to do so. We have, I mean, numerous people in that are actors and actresses, especially, have Leo Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. The really good ones, many of them have either Sun, Moon, or Leo Ascendant. And some examples: you look at legendary actor Al Pacino, Leo rising; actress Jessica Alba is a Leo ascendant; um, Tom Hanks and Clint Eastwood both have Leo moons. You look at Robert De Niro, Robert Redford, both have Leo suns. Um, Jennifer Lopez, very popular actress, is a Leo sun. Halle Berry, a Leo sun. So there's really, it just goes on and on. The It's uncanny how accurate astrology is. I do believe Leo definitely makes the best actors. They are just drawn. They are just a natural for that role. They don't. They generally. I don't think they have to work as hard to be proficient in the craft as far as acting goes, because they are just naturally connected with that kind of field. But anyway, and another thing I want to talk about too, as far as Leos and how they live their life, they're often, again, the energy level can be very high. I would say Aries and Leo are the signs that have the biggest energy, the most energetic of the zodiac signs. And Leo has to understand too that, I mean, if there's some Leos I've met, there's one that had a Leo sun and ascendant, another one with a Leo ascendant. Both of them seem to have, it seemed like they had exorbitant amounts of coffee or caffeine in them. And maybe it has something to do with the fact they feel a need for more fuel, because that's what they're about. They're about energy and vitality. But Leos need, maybe more so than at least most of the other signs, they need to limit that caffeine, because you often have a lot of energy and the abundance of energy naturally, in a surfeit of it, just naturally. They don't need extra energy. They don't need a lot of extra energy. I mean, I'm not saying to eliminate caffeine completely, but it's like do everything in moderation, including moderation, right? So, but anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.